Hey all, this is the second part of today's lesson, which is about animal behavior, and we are going to talk about different behaviors in animals, and we will summarizing them all. So first, there are three types of animal behaviors: innate, learned, and social. So innate is the one which the animal is given by birth. So they will have some things which they have by birth and learned over a period of time. They learn something in their life. And social, we are going to talk about that shortly. So, first, the innate habitat. So, the behavior that an organism is born with. So, even with the first try, they'll be able to do it. Like for in newborns, babies, and mammals, they just start suckling immediately after the birth. No one taught them how to do, no one taught fishes how to swim. So, some behavior that they are born with is called the innate behavior, and these are some of the examples of the behaviors that they get by birth. Migration is the first one under innate behavior, where the organisms, a group of organisms, a group of birds, which move from one area to another area so that they are avoiding the unwanted season. They just learn that, move from one place, one part of the earth to the other part just by birth. So no one is teaching them how to fly that long. It's just blood, which is called as migration. And hibernation, you'd have heard some bears which go to sleep over the entire winter, right? That is hibernation. So inactivity in the winter because food is not available. They will tend to go for hibernation and stay there until it comes back. And estivation is summer sleep. Estivation, the another term is summer sleep. So these are some categories which fall under innate behaviors, which is what the animals know by birth. And then learned behaviors that results from the experience, the things that you learn. A child learning to walk is a learned behavior. And under in learned behavior, habituation. Learn to stop responding if there is no harm or reward. For example, you would have seen owner of a dog giving treats to the dog if it behaves in a certain way. So it expects that reward every time when it behaves. So if it is not given, it will stop doing that. Right? So habituation is the way it learns to stop responding if there is no harm or no reward. Imprinting, rapid learning at specific age. So organisms tend to learn better in certain group, in certain age compared with other age. So why are you here in high school at this age? Why do we have an age limit? Because learning will be better at that specific age. So for most organisms, they do have a better learning at certain age. Trial and error, it is like an experiment, okay, like an experiment. They just do something, and it if it goes wrong, they'll just do in some other way with some perfection, or they'll try a new way. So trial and error is doing it repeatedly, and repeat behavior if ends in reward, they will stop behavior if ends in punishment. If they get reward, they'll just keep doing it again and again, and they'll stop if they get a punishment. So trial and error. They'll try to do something, and if something bad happens, they'll stop and do it in a different way. If something good happens, they just keep doing it. So this lesson, you'll know all these behaviors, but the only thing that you need to know is the exact terms that is used for it. So the entire lesson will be talking about different terms, and in most cases you will know the definition, but you just need to relate it with the correct term. So conditioning is when an organism learns to associate a stimulus with a reward of punishment. with a reward of punishment. Now, take a look at this picture. So, this is an actual experiment which was done by a scientist, and I forgot his name. So, if you see, what he did was he just started giving food to a dog, and it automatically secretes saliva when it sees the food. And then what he did was, like, he rang a bell and gave the food. And over a period of time, what happened was, even when he did not give food and ring the bell, it started to secrete saliva, which is called as conditional behavior. So think it this way. You all know when the bell rings to move to your next location, to leave the classroom and move to the next location. So even if it is not time, it's just not time for us to leave the class. But if the bell rings, what will you do? You'll just pack everything up and leave the classroom. That is called a stimulus. So here, the bell is the stimulus, and the reaction that is going on with it as conditional behavior. And then coming to the social behaviors, how organisms interact with each other, how organisms interact when they are living together, So number one, pheromones are the chemicals that trigger a response in the same species. So pheromones are the chemicals that trigger a response in the same species. So this is something similar to having a natural perfume. Courtship, organism trying to attract a mate. So each organism have a specific habit to signal its partner that it has to mate. So here, if you see a peacock dancing, most of us think it is for no reason, but that is a signal that it sends to its female partner that it need to mate. So courtship is a behavior when the organisms try to attract its mate. And territorial defense, just think about if someone comes to your house, what will you do? You'll try to defend them, you'll try to fight them and pull them out because that's your house. Similarly, organisms has their own boundaries and they'll start fight for their own space. So this is a video which I'm not going to play here, but it is available embedded in your PowerPoint presentation. You can just watch these videos, and what I want you to do is in your summary, you are going to read these questions, question number 1 to 4. Read the questions and write the answers for these questions. 2, 3, and then 4. You're going to write answers for these 4 questions in your summary.